Hey teachers! I know that you love free resources. All of us do. But free is not always good. That's right, when you're teaching online, very quickly you're going to realize that you have to kind of weed out the bad free resources from the good ones. Today, I'm going to help you with that. We're going to talk about vocabulary building websites. I'm going to give you my 6 favorite and my 6 least favorite websites as an online English teacher. I really hope this helps you out, and if you enjoy it, hit the like button and subscribe at the end of the video, and let's dive in. So before we get started here, folks, it's important for me to establish what I look for in a vocabulary list and what I want in a vocabulary resource. Because what I look for in a resource may not be the same as what you look for in a resource. So number 1, I look for relevance. I want the vocabulary list to be relevant, to be useful for the student. I would like to see some sort of cohesion in terms of the level and the demographic of student that this vocabulary list is supposed to be for. And even if there is not this cohesiveness, I would like for that to be a conscious choice by the website that has published this. And I could tell most of the time when it's not a conscious choice and it's actually just accidentally a bunch of words thrown together without much thought as to how they would be used. Number 2, I'm looking for ease of access and accessibility. First of all, I don't want to have to jump through hoops and go through a bunch of red tape just to find the vocabulary list that I'm looking for. How attractive and aesthetically pleasing the website is does mean something to me because most of the time I will be referring my students to this website. Number 3, I like content, and some of the websites that are on the no-go list, you're going to see they don't have a lot of content. They have only 5 or 6 words in certain categories. Let's start off with my go-to websites. Number 1, ESL7.com. This is my go-to website for anything vocabulary. I go there for collocations, I go there for thematic lists. There are animations, different colors. You could find stuff for just about any age group there. And this is all offered for free. So I am a huge proponent of ESL7.com. Number 2, I also really like the website thoughtco.com. The best part about ThoughtCo is that they have very intensive vocabulary lists. So if you're looking for very specific types of vocabulary, then this is your place to go. Not only that, but I have used thoughtco.com as a language learner as well. So if you're looking for vocabulary for other languages, such as Spanish or French, then this is also the place to go. Along the same lines, I check out fluentu.com. This website is great. It's packed with vocabulary. They have real life examples for you as well. It's also easy to find your way around. There are different functions on the site that you do have to pay for, but for the most part, if you're looking for vocabulary for your students, you got everything you need right there on fluentu.com. This next one is really good for idioms, and I'm going to speak a little bit later about how idioms could be tricky to find reliable resources for free. This one is called englishclub.com, and this one has good lists of idioms and informal language for you to use with your students. Number 5, if you're looking for some lessons to actually accompany the vocabulary that you're teaching your students, then go over to excellent4u.com. You know, this is just another one of those websites when you go on there and you see everything that they have, you just think to yourself, who is the saint who has released all of this for free? It's a great site to keep your students busy and to keep you busy planning your next lesson. Finally, number 6, this is esolcourses.com. This one is good, again, for very specific vocabulary. If you're looking for something related to illnesses, for example, they'll go right in there. I like how they also avoid trying to find too technical vocabulary. They're able to find vocabulary that's specific enough, but I guess it's comprehensible to the general population. So it could be useful to your students, whether they be a medical student in the tech field, a teacher, what have you. All right, so now let's flip around. These are the 6 websites I avoid when I'm looking for vocabulary for my English students online. Number 1, study.com. This website is good for other things, however. They do have videos that you could watch which could teach you different things, anywhere from pedagogy to improving your study habits. However, in terms of the actual vocabulary that they have in their lists, they just aren't very useful words. Some of them are kind of all over the place. They're mixed and blended together in terms of level and theme. And that's the same with the next one I'm about to tell you about, vocabulary.com. And ironically, this is one of those sites, whenever I see it, I just avoid it. Usually they have a short list of words, and if I'm looking up something like food, for example, they will bring up a few types of food that are very core to the English language, which is useful. But then they'll bring up some very specific words that I haven't even used much in my experience speaking English. And I have found that a few of their definitions don't really link up to the word that they're describing. So for that reason, I would put vocabulary.com in this category as well. This next one actually has pretty good content, but is actually the style and the navigation throughout the site that isn't very clear or smooth, and that is myenglishpages.com. This one, just like most of the sites you've heard today, have grammar, vocabulary, speaking, reading, writing, listening. While they do have good words, the layout is kind of all over the place. And they even have a few words which may be a little bit confusing being in their category. There seems to be an imbalance because certain categories are filled with words very intensively, whereas other categories should have a lot of words that you're teaching English students, but they are very sparsely populated. Okay, and on to the next one. This one is eflnet.com. I avoid this one at all costs. The reason why is because they will have different lists of words, and some of the words are spoken at such a low frequency. In fact, some of them are completely out of date that I wonder why they even have them on there. They lump these words together, which makes it seem like they are almost kind of going on the thesaurus.com and looking up synonyms for a word instead of actually finding words which are related to the topic at hand. Okay, number 5, this is a very common website actually, and it's called englishfirst.com. I know that it's very popular and a lot of people use it. One of the reasons why I don't use this website for vocabulary with my online English students, just like the other ones on this list, are really the idioms. So when you're looking up lists of idioms, and different phrases, some of the idioms don't have very coherent definitions. Some of them are only used in very specific contexts, and other ones are very out of date. Particularly when defining idioms, it's good to provide examples as well. And that's something that I really like about some of the other sites that I put on my go-to list. A lot of them will actually have the phrases used in example sentences, because these could be useful not only for the students, but for the teachers as well. Okay, and finally, number 6, the last one that I do not go to is eslgold.com. This website, again, they have a lot of gaps, especially in their lower level vocabulary lists. I find that with the upper level, there's more room for a mishmash between the different frequencies of words, I suppose you could say. But with the lower level, I find if you're trying to find, A2 level words related to transportation, for example, you're trying to find a good kind of solid foundation. And there does seem to be a little bit of an imbalance here, where you may see the word like helicopter, for example, but not the word car. Or you could see the word blimp, but not the word train. All right, folks, that's a wrap. I hope you found that helpful. Just to finish things off, I want to say that I give credit to all websites that release their resources for free, because this is what teachers like you and I really rely on. I am not trying to be nitpicky with free resources. I find that free resources for teaching and for learning languages are very valuable, no matter which gaps they have. In fact, a lot of the websites that I mentioned, they do have a lot of positive functions, just not specifically in the vocabulary list that I am looking for. So hopefully, if anything, this will drive you to actually go and check out those websites, and maybe you will find other sections of the websites that are very useful. Again, remember, this is all based off of my definition of useful vocabulary resource, okay? Yours may be different. It depends what you're looking for. All right, and that's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep smiling.